Alright everyone, this is Gaijin Goomba
and Akiterra.
And we just got back from seeing Wreck-It Ralph, and we both agree it was really, really good.
Love it.
Before we get started, I have to give two warnings. One, there's a massive spoiler warning because we're going to be talking about everything. So if you haven't seen it yet, close this down right now and don't open it up until you've seen it. That's an order. The other thing, there will be lots of swearing, mostly from me, and you'll know why in just a moment. So, with all that out of the way, Sweetie, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of people, at least a couple of reviews that I've heard of, they're saying, oh, well, I didn't like it, I'm not a gamer, blah, 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 things like that. Me, it was kind of nostalgic for me. I mean, growing up, playing video games, you see a lot of, just a bunch of different characters in one area. After their arcade that they're in is closed down, they kind of go and meander with each other. I mean, the game it's their day job. And I don't know, it's just very interesting. I was just kind of like, that's my childhood in movie form.
Yeah, watching Ryu and Ken go to Tappers,
Yeah.
that was really good. Yeah, spoiler, by the way. Again, if you haven't seen it, stop this right now. What I really liked about it is that I'm with her. It was super nostalgic, but at the same time, there are nods all over the place for current gen gaming. Sugar Rush in itself, I don't know if that's more of a nod towards current games now because it seems like it would appeal to a wider demographic. And it's also a car racer, but car racers have been around for a while. Hero's Duty.
Hero's Duty, yeah.
I really don't think that was not a nod to Call of Duty. That was a nod to Gears of War. And even freaking Jane Lynch's character, who was a Calhoun. Calhoun was just a nod to. It was a nod to
Gears of War.
Well, no, Gears of War, but it was I've never played it, so please don't crucify me. It was Phoenix's love interest. And I'm not dissing the game. I never played it, so put down the pitchforks.
Yeah.
That was really cool. God, what else was there?
I don't know. I really liked Calhoun. She's just militaristic, just, I'm gonna kill you. And I don't know. It was awesome. I really, really liked her character. It was, I don't know. It was a little of that kind of, feminine power. I'm gonna outdo these boys, but still at the same time, you're just like, wow, he's a really strong character. I don't care the fact that she's female. I don't know, she's kicking ass.
And that's kind of, I think, a nod to gamer girls, I think, maybe just a little bit. And that's really nice. But going back, the first-person shooter robot, best thing ever.
Oh my god.
We don't interfere with the first-person shooter. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, the weird thing, it wasn't a first-person shooter. It was a rail shooter.
Yeah.
You know, that was
but it's still first-person view. But I like that little robot. I mean, it looked like Johnny Five to me.
But, something else that I really liked how the characters moved and jerked around in a really kind of old jerky sprite sort of way. I realized that Felix, like the main characters, couldn't do it, even though Felix and Ralph were from a retro game, and everyone else in there had jerky animation. That would have been grating, I think.
Yeah, it would have been. It's better for like the citizens from the Wreck-It Ralph game to do that because that's kind of their like little kind of little program.
Right.
So it makes sense, and it's cute because they're like they look like was it the little Weeble Wobble?
Yeah, they look like Weeble Wobbles. But, I mean, it had so much charm, and it had a lot of polish. One of the things I didn't like, but it was quickly resolved, I didn't like that they spent so much time in Sugar Rush. I understand why they did, but especially, the one part where Calhoun and Felix were in the pit with the Laffy Taffy, and I'm like, this is a video game movie, right? This isn't a Candyland movie, and I only felt like that for a little bit, because then it backpedaled to this overarching, this is a video game world, and that was good. I really, really enjoyed that. So what else?
The whole thing with them being, was it the chocolate milk mix with the Laffy Taffy? I think that, I mean, like I had said earlier, that was just kind of their little way to play on Ralph. Oh, look, I can fix it. Oh, hit me in the face. My face is fixed. And that was cute.
It was cute.
It was out of place, but I giggled.
Well, and I did too. It was fine. It felt a little jarring, and that's the only thing I'd really complain about. The Grand Central Station, what was it?
The
Game Gaming Station, I think.
Game Central Station.
Game Central Station.
Play on Grand Central Station.
Which was basically in the middle of the freaking power strip.
Yeah, it was the power strip because you had the surge protectors, which were like the little police guys at each little outlet, which were the entrances to the games. Right. That was actually pretty damn clever.
It was really, I like that. I really like that a lot.
They could just all come together and meander and go between the different games.
Yeah. Okay, so what else? What else were we yakking about?
I don't know, quite a bit. See, I liked the Sugar Rush. I feel like they did spend a little too much time in it, though.
Well, that's okay. Was there anything you didn't like about it? Aside from the jarringness.
The jarringness. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, the villain game, the villain thing with Turbo, that was kind of easily seen. But
It was still a nice twist.
Yeah, it was a really interesting twist, but it was kind of just over really fast. But I like the way they did it. The whole Mentos and Diet Coke, that was pretty awesome.
Yes.
Oh my god, that kept me giggling.
Beware of Mentos.
Beware of Mentos.
And just surprisingly, Sonic had a lot of cameos.
Yeah.
We saw him like 5 times.
Yeah,
and
quite
if
a few times.
And if you're counting Robotnik, far more times. Like even in the credits, I think he was really the only video game character that was in the credits.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, no, in the credits they had him. They had listed, like Kano and Bison.
No, not the listing. I'm saying physically in the credits.
Okay,
yeah, Bison and all of them were there. Yeah. By the way, that meeting was like really good. Like the setup sucked you in so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that's an incoming call. I'll get that later. But here, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so what I could not stand, and what sucks is that I'm probably one of the only people that was really, really bothered by this because no one else has any idea. AKB fucking 48. Oh.
Calm down.
No, I will not. Okay, guys, eye to eye, just for a moment. Understand that this movie is not called Fix It Felix in Japan. It's called Sugar Rush. Okay, here's why. AKB48 is probably one of Japan's most popular idol groups. And anyone with half a brain in that country hates them. Hates them, hates them, hates them. I do too. Here's why. They are a group of I think up to 64 ladies now. 64 people in a group. And the only reason I think they do that is because they can break off and go to different parts of Japan or the world or whatever. And no, before you start telling me that I'm lashing out in some sort of unjustified rage, listen to their music.
悪役だからって悪いやつとは限らないぜ。だろ？もう悪役をやめたい。
映画はゲームの世界を舞台にヒーローになりたい悪役たちの奮闘を描いた物語。
この度ディズニー映画最新作「シュガーラッシュ」のエンディングで私たちの歌う「シュガーラッシュ」が流れることが決定しました。
そしてそのシュガーラッシュのミュージックビデオが出来上がりました。
映画の世界観が満載のミュージックビデオがこちら。
Honey, what did it sound like to you?
Unnatural. I mean, even like, okay, I listen to J-pop. I really love Visual K. I really do. But what little bit of the song that you actually hear in the movie, it's very, very grating. We were sitting kind of through the credits, like I said at the end of the credits, and what few people that were left in the theater when that song came on in the credits, those people kind of looked around, got up, and left.
They freaking bolted. And
they were like, whoa. They just kind of looked around because it was in Japanese, clearly. And I'm sure they were like, what am I listening to? Okay, I'm going to leave now. Bye.
And even within the movie, it was jarring because, yes, I understand that Japanese love cute things and they love sweets.
It really didn't feel like it fit.
There was nothing Japanese, honestly, about it.
No.
As someone who studied about the culture for over 8 years, lived in the country for 2.5 of those, it did not feel Japanese and it felt out of place. So, let me explain something. The song that they do is Sugar Rush's theme. So, let me get this straight. The movie is called Sugar Rush. The song is called Sugar Rush. This is nothing but cashing in on these girls. Yeah. And I would say this is unjustified of the girls, but at this point, here's the other thing about AKB48. It's like if you took the things that you would hate about, like, I don't hate Justin Bieber, but I hate what he does, and I hate what the company that, like, basically owns him does is to manipulate people and is spending money on them. AKB48 has leaders, and public decides the leaders by buying their merch. When they buy their merch, they buy a voting right, and the person and it's brilliant money making. Like, it makes so much money, but this isn't music, and it's not a real group. There's no heart in this. It's just sold out. You know what the dumb thing is? These girls are supposed to 24/7 maintain cute and cool composure, and they're not allowed to have boyfriends. Yeah. Period. If they get a boyfriend, they get kicked out of the group.
Well, because they're supposed to be all, like, kind of available.
Well, yeah, it's to make...
Like that, yeah.
But, I mean, you don't even have to do that. Bieber's got a girlfriend, and people still love him, and the girls still swoon over him like...
It's because people love her.
Even still, like, the fantasy of Bieber actually caring about people that he's never met before, that's the whole... That's why I hate it so much, is because it just feels like a lie. And that's what irritated me so much in this movie, is that Wreck-It Ralph was so good. It was... I'm going to say it was flawless. Because the one time I felt a little jarred, it pulled it right back and was absolutely fine looking back on it. And that one thing, and again, most of you guys are like, well, why are you complaining about this? And I'm like, because I have to.
You're digressing a little bit.
Sorry.
But I can understand why they would call it Sugar Rush in Japan. They know that it's going to market. They know that it's going to sell. In their defense, I understand that. I mean, yes, Sugar Rush isn't what the movie is about. I understand. I don't agree with it, but it works for them.
Okay, let me pull out of the AKB48 rant because I'm never going to shut up about it. There's one thing actually that really disappointed me. It's like, are the residents of the game and Felix, are they being nicer to him because they understand that how they treated him was wrong? Or are they acting nice to him because they realize if Ralph ever leaves, their game is gone? And the reason why I say that is when Ralph breaks out Felix, and Felix is like, you don't know what it's like to be treated like dirt and thrown in here, and no one loves you. And Ralph was like, that's how I feel every day. It is that point. Felix should have turned around and did the classic Disney 180 and be like, oh man, you're right. I understand now. But no, instead he's like, well, whatever. And then they just kind of leave.
Yeah.
So that felt really unfulfilling. So I got to wrap this up because I'm going over time. Basically, I love the movie. I want to see it again. I'm going to walk out after the credits for...
to avoid the AKB48. Great movie, though. I want to see it again.
I definitely do, too. It is by far the best video game movie you will ever see. I know that may not sound like it's saying much compared to what else has been out there. But I mean, even with things like Advent Children, which technically didn't, it wasn't made here.
I know, I like Advent Children.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
I'm one of those.
But even with its own context, it still wasn't the best video game movie because they didn't utilize enough.
I'm not going to say it's the best video game, but
one more thing. And this is I admit this is overanalyzation and it has no place here, but now I'm really curious. At the very end, when Ralph says that he brings in like Q*bert and all of the guys whose game got unplugged, I'm like, okay, so how does nobody notice that all of these old school characters are now in this game? Because kids have had to play it long before
and get to these bonus levels.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, wait, why is Q*bert? What? Okay.
And it's not like they could have gone in and added it to the game.
Right, and I mean, but see, it's okay. I like that because it was a good, solid, happy ending. You don't see those anymore in movies. Every ending has to be either bittersweet or just.
Or no one gets a happy ending.
Yeah, or no one gets a happy ending. That's one of the things that I miss about my childhood is all the happy endings. But I mean, that was kind of. It's one of those things that makes you stop and go, huh. Anywho, all right, that's it for me. Aki, do you have any last statements?
Go watch Wreck-It Ralph.
All right, go watch Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, guys, this is Gaijin Goomba
and Akiterra
signing out.